So it may not look too flashy, that's because it's a supportive build, but this build does three things. It buffs allies' damage through some scepters and passives. It debuffs enemies, reduces their resistances and exposes them. It slows them a lot, and we can even time freeze for a whopping 11.8 seconds. When we combine this with our second charge of our time freeze, that adds up to almost 18 seconds of time freeze on enemies, which is pretty crazy. And the last thing it does is it generates power and frenzy charges for our allies, removing that burden from their kit and build. So how can you do this yourself? We're going to start off looking at the skills. We've got Temporal Rift to let us rewind, regenerate any energy shield or mana, with cooldown recovery and second wind. Then we have our time freeze with magnified area, prolonged duration, cooldown recovery, second wind, and rapid casting. Then we come to blasphemy, which we use while mapping and we turn off when bossing. Blasphemy has temporal chains, elemental weakness. Feel free to swap that for either despair or vulnerability, depending on your party's needs. For me, I have elemental friends, so I'm playing with elemental weakness. Magnified area, slow potency for increased slowing, and heightened curse for stronger curses. Frostbomb is here for if you have friends who've got elemental damage. If your friends aren't doing elemental damage, though I'd bet they are, then you don't need this. So Frostbomb's got short fuse, it has spell echo, it has overabundance, because if you want it to echo and repeat, you need overabundance, otherwise there will only be one Frostbomb, because there is a limit to one Frostbomb. We have exposure, and we have less cost as well. We come to a manual cast elemental weakness. We use this for our bossing. We have heightened curse, we have prolonged duration, we have focused curse, and we have efficiency as well. Ideally, there should really be the cast ground gem in here that leaves it cast on the ground. Now, the next three skills all go together. This plays a part in our power charge generation. When we're mapping, we can use Profane Ritual on corpses, and that's all quite nice. You consume a corpse, it gives you a power charge. When we're not mapping, when we're bossing, we need a way of generating power charges still. That's why we have Sacrifice, which lets us use our reviving minions for corpses, and why we use Skeletal Sniper. That's just the first minion that I had available. You should just put in whichever reviving minion has the lowest spirit cost. It's probably a different one to what I've chosen. You can just use your Profane Ritual on your minions, and then you'll generate your power charges from it. In Profane Ritual itself, we have increased cast speed because we're spamming it while mapping. We have charge profusion so that we can get either an extra charge or random charges. We have Unleash because again we're spamming it while mapping. It just means we can weave our other abilities and still have a high uptime of Profane Rituals. And we have compressed duration. I don't know if this does exactly what I want it to, but I'm hoping that it makes us consume the rituals faster so we get our power charges faster. Similarly, Sniper's Mark is our frenzy charge generator. This makes it so that when we mark an enemy, the next critical hit dealt to them will give us a frenzy charge. Now please note, it's not us that needs to crit the enemy, just that the enemy needs to receive a crit. So, in Sniper's Mark, we have +1 to limit, because there is a limit to just one marked target. We have Charge Profusion too, so we have a chance to get extra charges and random charges. We have Prolonged Duration, so the mark lasts longer. We have Second Wind, so that we can use a second one that goes nicely with the Overabundance. And we have Cooldown Recovery, so it comes off cooldown faster. Then we've got some excess Spirit. I mean, I've got 400 Spirit in my build. I've got Overwhelming Presence, which makes it so it's easier to apply ailments. And we've got Charge Profusion, so that we don't really benefit from the crit chance in our build, so that we can benefit from the defenses and skill speed whenever we have endurance or frenzy charges. That's it for the build. We are cursing, we are exposing, we're time freezing, we're generating power charges with these, we're generating frenzy charges with these, and we have some mixed extra effects from that. With the skills done, we can take a look at the items. So the unique that allows us to share our charges with allies are these unique gloves here, which are lovely, really, really powerful for this build. Then any other uniques? Alpha's Howl doubles our presence radius, which, I mean, if I just hold the presence, is going off my screen. I don't actually know how big it is because I can't see how big it is. We have another unique here. This shield gives us 50% increased skill effect duration. It adds 2 seconds to our time freeze, which is lovely. We've got this ring here, which gives our allies in our presence damage as extra chaos damage. And we've got this unique belt here. You want to look for one that gains bonuses as though it was a helmet, and then you socket in some Talisman of Egrins that make enemies we cast take increased damage. That's it for the uniques then. Then you're going to want to chase a Scepter. You don't need Spirit on it. You just want increased damage on it for your allies and increased presence area. As long as you do that, you're doing great with your Scepter. You want to just use your body armor and boots to get energy shield and resistances. You want to use your other ring to pad as many resistances as possible. A breach ring can go quite nicely here when it's qualityed. And then your amulet, you're just looking for energy shield and resistances on that. You don't even need the 15 spirit on there. It's just we're chasing resistances since, you know, we are using 4 uniques in our gear, so we're quite desperate to get more resistances. I have also Anointed Warlord's Leader in the passive tree. That's it for the gear then. We can take a look at the passive tree. We do have some weapon sets. I'm going to ignore them for the start. We're just going to take a look at the main tree first. We're coming along here, getting lots of energy shield and some stun and ailment threshold. We're coming along, getting more energy shield again. We're coming up, going all the way up, grabbing Whisper of Doom for 2 curses, getting more energy shield and some skill effect duration, some dual socket that I haven't even used, chaos inoculation, and some extra ailment threshold here, just so we don't get frozen while we're playing. More energy shield along here, coming down, going down, grabbing more skill effect duration, getting more energy shield but not grabbing this. I haven't tested it, but I'm assuming that if you have only 1 HP and you have this, I'm assuming that means it's going to kill you instantly, so don't take this. Coming along here, grabbing some presence area, getting some more energy shield whilst we're there, going along, coming down, grabbing aura magnitudes, coming along, getting another dual socket, getting some more presence, area of effect, and grabbing some skill of... Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's in our weapon set. So we'll talk about our weapon sets now then. One weapon set is focused on exposure and skill effect duration. The other weapon set is focused on casting and slowing. So we can take a look at the casting. We come to here, we grab AoE for casters and magnitude. We come up here, we grab extra hinder and slow magnitudes. And we also come along here and we grab the cast magnitudes here. That's it for one of our weapon sets. In our other weapon set, we grab elemental exposure here. We grab elemental exposure here. We also grab skill effect duration here. And realistically, you could also shove the skill effect duration up here into the weapon set as well. For our Ascendancy, we're running Chronomancer, mainly because of the presence slow, and mainly because of the time freeze. Both of these are incredible supportive skills. This obviously because during mapping, it makes slowing enemies amazing. Time freeze for mapping and for bossing, it's fantastic. Temporal Rift gives us an added layer of security. We can always rewind and get 7,000 energy shield back. And Now and Again is brilliant because for our time freeze and our rewind and our frost bomb and our sniper's mark, it can proc on all of those abilities. So it's a really nice quality of life. That's it for the passive, the Ascendancy. The only thing left are jewels. Frankly, there's still something I'm figuring out. I had this that I was using when this character was a damage Chronomancer build. So increased exposure effect and skill duration is kind of nice there. But on most of my jewels, I was kind of just looking for energy shield, cast magnitude, presence. That's really all that you need. So just on your jewels, look for anything that has energy shield, ailment or stun threshold, casting, area of effect, or presence. They're all beneficial stats to the build. We don't need to scale damage in this. Just some extra energy shield gives more survivability. That's it for the build. The gameplay loop is literally just walking around, spamming Profane Ritual on your minions, enemy corpses, spamming Sniper's Mark on any enemies to get frenzy charges up, rewind if you take damage, time freeze if you really need to, frost bomb to pop exposure, and curse to curse enemies as well, obviously. What I have done and what I recommend doing is bind frost bomb to your exposure weapon set and bind your manual curse to your curse weapon set. And then because the exposure weapon set has your skill effects duration in with it, what I recommend doing when you get a boss is you curse first, then you expose, and now you are in the skill effect duration weapon set, so then you can time freeze. Okay, curse first, expose, time freeze to get the longest duration possible. You can see on the time freeze between the weapon sets it drops from 11.83 to 10, so you're losing a decent little chunk. That's it for the build. Thanks for watching.